Hey guys, I've had a couple of you ask about fasting insulin if it's important for us to know. And it made me realize that while I have spoke on insulin in previous videos, I've never made a video about the hormone insulin. And so here's this video, and it's really important even for the non-diabetics. So stay with me. We'll learn together. Hey guys, my name is Susan and welcome to my channel. If you are a returning subscriber, thank you so much for subscribing. And if you are new to my channel, welcome. And just so you know, I'm not a doctor and none of my videos are meant to diagnose or give medical advice. It's just me sharing things that I have learned and how I reversed my type 2 diabetes, fatty liver, stage 1 kidney disease, hypertension, and how I'm confident that some of you out there will be able to have the same results. So now, guys, the hormone insulin affects us all, even non-diabetics. Your glucose levels and your A1C may be normal, but your journey doesn't end there. It is important that you know what your fasting insulin is. And so you can have your doctor give you a fasting insulin test. And if your doctor refuses to give you that test because they don't know what to do with it, get a new doctor, in my opinion. But you can also go through Own Your Own Labs and get it done yourself. Through Own Your Own Labs, it cost me about $13 to get it done. So it's not too expensive. But anyways, and just make sure that you are in a 12 to 14-hour fasting window at the time of the blood draw. According to Dr. Berry, your fasting insulin should be below 6 point. Anything above that it's too much. So even if it shows normal on your lab work at a 10, 11, 12, it's too high. It just means your pancreas is having to work harder than what it should be for what you're eating. You'll either need to make sure you lower your carbs a little bit more or cut back on how often you're eating. But anyways, I know that having high insulin levels is what made me insulin resistant. It's what made me type 2 diabetic. It gave me the fatty liver and the high blood pressure and the kidney disease. And, instead of just rolling over and accepting my fate, I dug into the world of knowledge. And I started watching a lot of the different doctors. But my favorite one to watch on the hormone insulin is Dr. Benjamin Bikman. He does such a great job at explaining how things work. And for me, I liked having that knowledge because it helps me understand what is happening in my body every time I take a bite of food. And in doing that, having that knowledge, it also helps me to look at food as I should. I'm not perfect with it. I still have struggles with emotional desires to eat. But having the knowledge of, what the food is doing to me every bite I take, it helps me to look at it as an energy source and not an emotional crutch. All right. But anyways, I'm going to put a link to Dr. Benjamin Bikman's Instagram and I think his YouTube channel in the description below. But also his book, Why We Get Sick. Guys, that is such an amazing book. If you haven't read it, you should read it. And I'll put a link to the Amazon for Amazon to buy his book there. I don't think it's too expensive. I don't remember how much I paid for it myself, but I highly recommend it. It's such a good book to read. All right. So, developing insulin resistance. Look at this graph. And this graph I made this graph. I'm kind of proud of it, even though you can very clearly see it's not professional, but I'm proud of it. And it's just an idea of what it might look like when you're eating, when you're insulin sensitive and when you're insulin resistant. So here's the graph. As you can see, the orange line will represent someone who's insulin sensitive, and the green will represent someone who's resistant. And this is based off how here in America we tend to eat. I don't know about other countries, but we have to the insulin sensitive person. They get up in the morning, they have breakfast, right? Well, there goes their insulin level. It goes up, and that's a natural thing. Don't be afraid of that. That's supposed to happen. Okay. and then it comes down, but then it's snack time. Can't forget the snacks. And you go up. Then it comes down. And then it's lunchtime. And then it comes down. Oh, and then there's a snack again. It goes way up there. And then it starts to come down. But then wait a minute. There's dinner. And it goes up again. But now let's look at someone who's resistant. And you can already see that the green line is starting at a higher level already than to someone who's sensitive to insulin. So we're already starting off elevated. And so we have our breakfast, and it goes way up there, almost off the charts there, right? And then it's starting to come down, but it doesn't come down a whole lot. And then it's snack time, so there it goes up again. Maybe it should have been a little higher than that, but anyways, it goes up. And then it comes down, but not enough before it's lunchtime into snack time. And then it's dinner time, and it's coming down, but it stays on that high line. And it takes the rest of the night to even come below that high line. So guys, that's what it might look like. Visuals help me. I don't know if they help you, but visuals like that help me to really understand and process what might be going on in my body, especially since being diagnosed as a type 2 diabetic, I have insulin resistance, right? So I would definitely fall into that green category. Not now. I've improved. But that's definitely ideally what my body was looking like when I was diagnosed. And maybe that's what your body looks like at this current time when you're eating your foods. And so that is how we become insulin resistant, and why we keep high insulin levels is because the constant snacking, the constant eating. Guys, your days of snacking is over. If you're serious about this, your days of snacking is over. Stop the snacking. And this is why you hear so much about fasting. There's so much health benefits to fasting, and this is why. Now, there may be other health benefits out there besides lowering your insulin levels, but in terms of this video, that's why fasting is so important. It gives your body a rest, okay? And like I do most days, 1 meal a day. Sometimes I'll have 2, depends on my activity level and what I'm eating, but most days it's 1 meal a day. You don't have to do 1 meal a day. And when I say fasting, I'm not saying you have to do week-long fast. Don't get scared. But, making it 1 or 2 meals a day, give yourself at least a 16-hour break from your last meal of the day to the next meal of to the first meal of the next day. Give it at least that. And in doing so, and no snacking, it'll bring those insulin levels down. It'll give your poor pancreas a break. And your cells will thank you for it. They'll even become a little bit more sensitive to the insulin that you're producing. You're going to see all kinds of improvement in that way. All right. So, this drives me nuts, guys. Doctors who tell patients to lose weight, well, hey, the best way to do this is instead of eating a big meal, eat about 5 or 6 small meals. No, that's insane. Because it doesn't matter if you're eating the healthiest food. You're eating 5 or 6 times, guess what? Insulin response, and your insulin level is going to go up. We can make healthy foods unhealthy. Okay? So that's horrible. Horrible. Stick to 1 or 2 meals a day. All right. So, and that goes along with the 3-step solution. Now, I just talked about fasting. I kind of got ahead of myself. But, number 1 is, of course, the carbs and sugar. Get it out of your life. Get it out of your life. Remove it. Forget they even exist. All right. The high insulin is a dietary issue in the amount we eat and what we eat too. Okay. So correcting the dietary issue is the cure for this. And then there's exercise. There's a lot of people who think that you have to exercise to reverse your diabetes. Exercise will help lower your glucose temporarily, because what exercise does for us is it helps make our muscles receptive to our insulin. But if you're relying on exercise alone, you're going to have to exercise 24/7, and that's not doable. Not even to the most athletic person. We all need rest. The dietary change is the most important part. Now, this will help you get your insulin levels down. And, but here's the thing. high insulin levels is not just something that causes diabetes. You want to know all it can cause, and there's probably more to this than what I am going to show. But here we have, and I made this. It's not even, but don't laugh. But I do my best. Anyways, heart disease, Alzheimer's, cancers, fatty liver, body fat, dementia, PCOS, and of course, diabetes. You know, and so this is all the stuff that high insulin levels can affect, and this is why I said that the hormone insulin affects more than just diabetics out there. And now, guys, being keto carnivore is not bulletproof. There's no guarantee that eating keto carnivore is going to say that you'll never get cancer. I hope you don't. I hope I don't. But I think it gives us better odds. And if we do end up with cancer, I think we have the best fighting chance because we're not consuming sugar and we're getting our insulin levels lower. Okay. There's a scan they do on patients where the blood work comes back and it tells the doctor that, this patient has cancer. They just don't know where. They do a scan, and I don't know what the name of the scan is. I want to say it's PETA scan. I could be wrong on that. Anyways, they do a scan to find out where the cancer is. And you know what they do? They give you sugar. And why do they do that? Because when you put sugar in your body, the cancerous cell or cells light up. Man, they get excited over that. They're like, "Ooh, give me some of that sugar. Give me more of that." And they light up and they reveal themselves to the doctor. And they're like, "Oh, okay, there is the cancer. It's there. It's here in your body here. This is the kind of cancer that you probably have. We'll treat it like this, okay?" Sugar feeds cancer. So I think we'll have the best chance eating keto carnivore and keeping our insulin levels lower. Okay, but again, guys, it's not bulletproof. We're all going to die one day, no matter how perfectly we eat. Okay, but I think that this will give us the best health that we can possibly have. Hormone insulin is important. It does a lot for us. Don't be afraid of it, but we need to take care of it, and it will take care of us. Well, guys, I hope that this answers your questions. If you have any questions, post them in the comment below. If you know more about this, share with me. I want to learn too. I'm all about learning because, guys, when we know, well, we know. My friends, it's been a pleasure. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.